What happens when a quiet, nerdy-looking transfer student walks into a new school, only to be targeted by bullies? What they don't know is that this boy has a story, a strength, and a secret that will leave everyone speechless. Let's dive in and see how one day changes everything. The bell rang, signaling the start of another day at Lincoln High School. Students shuffled through the hallways, laughing, chatting, and rushing to their classes. But today was different. Today, a new student was joining the school. His name was Elliot Grayson. He was tall but slightly hunched, as if trying to make himself smaller. His glasses were thick, his hair neatly combed, and his clothes plain, a simple sweater and jeans. He carried a backpack that looked too big for him, filled with books and what looked like a sketchpad. To everyone, he was just another nerd, the kind of kid who would blend into the background. Elliot walked into Mr. Thompson's classroom, his eyes scanning the room nervously. The teacher introduced him to the class, but the moment Elliot sat down, the whispers began. "Look at him. What a loser," muttered Tyler, the school's star football player and the leader of the popular group. "Yeah, he's probably here to ruin the curve in math," laughed Mason, Tyler's best friend and the class clown. Elliot didn't respond. He just kept his head down, scribbling something in his notebook. But the bullies weren't done. At lunch, Elliot sat alone at a corner table, quietly eating a sandwich. Tyler, Mason, and their gang walked over, smirking. "Hey, new kid," Tyler said, slamming his hands on the table. "What's in the sketchpad? Let me see." Elliot hesitated, but handed it over. Tyler flipped through the pages, his smirk fading. The sketches were incredible, detailed drawings of landscapes, animals, and even portraits of people. But Tyler wasn't impressed. "Wow, you're such a loser," Tyler said, tossing the sketchpad to Mason, who pretended to drop it into a nearby trash can. Elliot's face turned red, but he didn't say a word. He just picked up his sketchpad, wiped off the crumbs, and walked away. The bullies laughed, but something about Elliot's calmness bothered Tyler. It was as if Elliot wasn't afraid of them, and that made Tyler angry. After school, Tyler and his gang decided to follow Elliot. They wanted to teach him a lesson, to make sure he knew his place. But what they saw shocked them. Elliot didn't go home. Instead, he walked to a small gym on the edge of town. The sign outside read, "Greystone Martial Arts Academy." Curious, Tyler and his friends peeked through the window. Inside, Elliot was no longer the quiet, hunched-over nerd. He was confident, strong, and focused. He was sparring with a trainer, moving with precision and power. "That's impossible," Mason whispered. "That's not the same kid." But it was. Elliot had been training in martial arts for years. He had won tournaments, earned belts, and even taught younger kids. But he never bragged about it. He didn't need to. The next day, Tyler and his gang cornered Elliot in the hallway. They were determined to prove that he wasn't as tough as he looked. "Think you're tough, huh?" Tyler said, shoving Elliot against the lockers. Elliot didn't fight back. He just looked Tyler in the eye and said, "You don't have to do this." But Tyler didn't listen. He threw a punch, but Elliot dodged it effortlessly. In one swift move, Elliot had Tyler on the ground, his arm pinned behind his back. The hallway fell silent. Everyone stared in shock. "I don't want to fight you," Elliot said, his voice calm but firm. "But if you keep pushing me, I won't have a choice." Later that day, Elliot found Tyler sitting alone on the school steps. Tyler looked defeated, his usual confidence gone. "Why didn't you fight back earlier?" Tyler asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Elliot sat down beside him. "Because I know what it's like to feel small," he said. "I used to get bullied too, but I learned that fighting doesn't solve anything. It just makes things worse." Tyler looked at Elliot, surprised. "Then why did you fight back today?" "Because sometimes people need to see that they can't push others around," Elliot said. "But that doesn't mean I want to hurt anyone." Tyler didn't know what to say. For the first time, he saw Elliot not as a nerd or a threat, but as a person. The next day, Tyler stood up in front of the class. He apologized to Elliot and promised to change his ways. It wasn't easy, but it was a start. Elliot didn't become popular overnight, but he earned respect. He even started a self-defense club at school, teaching other kids how to protect themselves and stand up to bullies. As for Tyler, he became one of Elliot's closest friends. He realized that true strength isn't about pushing others down, it's about lifting them up. And so, the quiet transfer student who looked like a nerd became a hero in his own way. He didn't just fight back against bullies, he changed their hearts. Sometimes, the strongest people are the ones who don't need to prove it. Remember, kindness and courage can change the world, one person at a time. That's the story, friends. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a pleasure sharing it with you all. Don't forget to comment below and let me know where you're watching from. It's always fun to see the global reach of these stories. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button for more amazing stories, tips, and tricks. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. If you'd like to show some extra love, tap the 3 dots near the share button and send a super thanks.